Hey there, good man fam, and welcome new viewers to another episode of the Female Guessing Game. Now, the way this game works is that I'll review a video that has a single female in it or multiple females in it. But here's the catch. When it's a single female, I'll be asking you if she's a traditional woman, or modern female. However, when it's multiple females in the video, you won't know about which female I'm asking you until the end of the video. So, you have to stay to the end of the video to see about which female I'm asking you is a traditional woman, or modern female. Ready? Let's get it.
Y'all league is the men you can get commitment and marriage from.
And that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a girl, you can sleep with a guy. It's not immediately clear. If you can sleep with a guy, you can always get him in, or with near certainty, get him into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But as a guy, if I can sleep with a girl, there's a very strong chance I can get her into a relationship.
That's facts. That's facts. That is so freaking true. Because the way that males are when it comes to relationships, sleeping around in that whole nine, is different than the way females are, even though females try to act like it's not. See, when females give themselves to a male in the physical realm, what happens is their mindset is thinking this guy is somebody who's not just hot, but somebody with whom I can see myself. This is how they think, because if they really like him, they want to be with him 9 times out of 10. Remember, it's a game of percentages. We're not talking about 100% of everybody, but you're talking about 90+%, right? But a male, he doesn't look at a female and say, hey, that's somebody with whom I can be relationship wise. The first thing he thinks is, God, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how males think. And then once he starts having conversations with her after that, he can realize if she's somebody with whom he would want to have a relationship. So what he just said is facts. But let's see if they're going to understand and receive that truth. I don't know, but I guess we're about to find out.
False.
What is the...
That's so false.
What's the saying?
Basically, 80-90% of the men I date, I don't want a relationship with them.
What?
Hold on, there's
Modern women
strumpets.
harder.
There's obviously strumpets that are fine,
The
engaging,
average.
and casual.
This is something that I've talked about in the past. You know, I only said something about it 1, maybe 2 times, but I really need to reiterate this. Asian modern females are the worst modern females in the world. Now, here's the thing. Black modern females are extraordinarily terrible. Okay, they're absolutely horrific, right? But they're almost like the baseline. They're almost like the normal modern female. The normal modern female is a black modern female, which is just absolutely horrible, right? But Asian modern females, it's almost like they've been trapped inside of a traditional female when they're in these Asian countries, right? Taiwan, Japan, China, that whole nine. And what happens is they come to America and it's almost like they're thinking, wait, you mean that I can say this to a man? You mean that I don't have to do this? I don't have to cook, or I don't have to this? Oh, and I'll get support for being this type of female? And then they just lose their freaking minds. Because this Asian chick on here is the one who said that. She's the one who just said that mess about males being able to get in a relationship with the chick with whom they sleep is somehow not true. She just said that and then said, oh my goodness, she said, I don't want to be with the majority of the guys who I sleep with, something to that effect. And Brian was like, well, I mean, there are strumpets. Translation, you're a whore, ma'am.
I don't think that's
the
true.
saying is that
You think
when
women-
women are nice to men, men feel entitled to sex. When men are nice to women, women feel entitled to commitment.
I mean, listen, he not wrong.
No, I don't feel entitled. I don't want to commit to most of the men I see.
That's an L
It's a
for
fair
you.
statement.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna
because
say.
they're really losers. They
So
are
you losers?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I the losers.
That's an L.
That's broke. Yeah.
That's an L, bro.
Yo, do you all see about what it was I was talking? This Asian chick is gone, bruh. She is gone. I'm sitting there listening to her. One, you could tell she's talking really, really fast. She's talking over people. And she just said that she screws losers. What? Does she not understand that a gargantuan part of her value comes from her chastity? Does she not understand it? See, this is why God made males to lead, because males don't lead with their feelings. Because if males were to move based on their feelings, males would just spend all day jerking off and spend all day just looking at chicks and watching. Because it's like, well, I'm just going to go with my feelings. Well, then that means I'm going to focus on my testosterone. But females, they actually do that, like focus on their estrogen. They focus on their feelings. Males like, well, I can't focus on my feelings. I want to do this, but I understand that I need to do that. Females are like, I want to do this. It may say I need to do that over there, but I'm going to go with the I want to do this. This is why these females will go on trips to different places with the money they're supposed to use for their rent. And then say, well, I'll just deal with it later. Why? Because if they can't get the money for their rent, like from the people around them, guess what they'll do? They'll go on the internet and start crying. And they'll have people just donate money to them. They know that they can get away with so freaking much. So that's how they become like this Asian female here. A chick who's just like, oh, I just screw whoever. My vag just is open to whoever it is to whom I want it to be open. Because I just feel that way. This is why females shouldn't be the ones who lead.
I don't need no man.
Because I need to get off, man. Sometimes
You
I
said
need
you
a
don't
man.
even get off. You said you don't. You said
have your
sleep with
vibrator.
your
I
guys.
always bring my tiny vibrator with me. It's like this big, okay? If he can't get me off, I have my ways.
Nasty.
Sometimes you need a warm body. You need a good cuddle. What's wrong with that? I separate business with.
STDs.
Yo, this is crazy. First off, a female needing to get off is bullcrap. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. If a female really likes a guy, she may want to get off because it's a thing that feels good. Great. Understandable, right? But needing to get off, man, listen. If she's with a guy about whom she really cares, her getting off is not a need. She just wants to be with that guy. She actually likes to see that guy get off. I'm going to tell you something that a chick said to me. There's one chick on my roster. She said that she loves the look on my face when she pleases me. She told me that she loves just to see the look on my face. It makes her happy. Okay? When a chick really rocks with you, she just wants to see you happy. She doesn't put you through all of that. You got to buy me a Birkin and you got to buy this, you got to buy that, you got to take me here and do all this stuff. She will be happy to go to a park and play with bubbles with you. She doesn't give a crap. So when this chick is talking about getting off, the reason that she's talking like that is because she screws losers.
Cuddle, you get STDs from cuddle.
well,
Do you
not
know how many
cuddling.
guys are my cuddle buddies?
But it's not
because
sex.
They want
Then
my,
you're not having sex with
I
them.
mean, you don't want condoms.
But what?
Oh, okay. Oh, you crazy.
Is your
You don't wear
ideal
condoms
man?
when you have sex?
what?
Condoms.
You think that stops an STD?
Oh, so you're saying I shouldn't have sex when I want to have sex with someone?
Yo, did she just ask a rhetorical question? She just said, so you're saying that I shouldn't have sex when I want to have sex with someone? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to translate what it is that she just said. She just said, so what you're saying is I shouldn't do whatever it is that I want to do whenever it is that I want to do it. Now, on its face, in a society where it says, hey, you're free, freedom, you can do whatever you want to do, that seems like it makes sense, right? Right. But think about the overall ramifications of that. Okay, I'm going to ask you all something and keep it real in the comment section. How many times have you been driving down the road? Keep it real. And you had the craziest thought in your mind. You had a thought like, what if I just turned my wheel this way and just drove through that building? Or what if I just decided just to hit the brakes and do a spin and all of these cars just had to adjust to whatever it is that I did? What would happen? How many times have you had a crazy thought in your mind standing next to somebody? You see somebody over there talking crazy, and in your mind you say, I would like to pick this chair up and throw it over there to them and just bust them across the head. Or you're standing next to a cliff, or you're standing next to somewhere and you're walking and you see water and you're like, oh, I just want to dive in there. But you have on your earphones and your phone and all this stuff with you. And you're like, well, I can't do that because, this stuff will get wet and whole nine. But the thought goes through your head. How many times have you had crazy thoughts like that? Y'all tell me some of the thoughts that y'all had that were crazy like that in the comment section. This female is saying, you're telling me that I shouldn't do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it? And in this regard, she's talking about sex. And this is an Asian female. And we know historically how they normally are. But this is what happens when you get westernized.
I don't need no man. Because I want to scratch and itch.
You naughty, naughty.
Like, that's so like,
Well,
wrong.
yeah, it's called sexual discipline.
So what do you have sexual discipline? You've never ever had sex with a girl without a condom, or like you're just
Wait,
like.
okay, we're talking about two totally different things
Okay.
here.
Do you suffer from a mental illness? Do you think you do?
I just don't understand why you're like thinking what I did is unreasonable. It's like very
You're an
apparent
adult.
to
You can
me.
do what you want.
Whatever, I do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's.
I'm actually against like
I'm against
promiscuity.
hookup culture.
I'm not
against promiscuity.
promiscuous.
Right.
Did this chick just say she's not promiscuous? Nah, bruh. Nah. That's not how that works, ma'am. That's not how that works. You can't be like, I'm just going to screw anybody whenever I want to screw anybody. Oh, and by the way, I have losers. And by the way, I carry around a freaking vibrator. Oh, but at the same time, I'm not promiscuous. What? Does she not know the definition of words? Like what? Does she not understand that we have a thing called Webster's Dictionary? I think it's a Cambridge Dictionary as well. Does she not know this? Yo, this is what happens when you have these females having this level of freedom, because their mind goes left to right, left to right, left to right. They're like a flower just in the wind. It just goes wherever, whenever. And they don't even think about what they said 8 seconds ago, because they just have streams of consciousness. They just talk and think and talk and think and talk and think and talk and think and talk and think. And they don't even do the thinking part the majority of the time. They just talk. Whatever just comes out their mouth, comes out their mouth. Immediately somebody says something, they just react, then think later. And then once they realize how stupid they sound, they have to figure out a way to not make it their fault. He manipulated me. Somehow something crazy happened to where it's not my fault. Jeez, this is crazy. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this Asian female, because this is absolutely bananas.
Sometimes I want someone's.
Yeah,
it's like
you're
different.
promiscuous.
No,
You're
you are promiscuous.
Oh wait.
I know you are, but what am I? 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 I know you are, but what am I?
Do you see what she just did? Do you see what she just did? I'm telling you all, this is what females who get put into a logic corner do. They hit you with the really, really old school Pee Wee Herman. I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? They hit you with that. It's just, they can't accept the reality, because if they accept the reality, it would mean that they have to change. But y'all can go look on the website, TYGMRight.com. Just wrote an article about that. They don't want to change. So what do? They have to push it back on you. So she's the one talking about all the promiscuity in which she engages. But then when Brian says something to her about her being promiscuous, she just throws it back at him. Well, no, you're promiscuous. She doesn't have any evidence of that. None. But her thing is, no, get it off of me. I know you are, but what am I? Oh, having a conversation or attempting to have a conversation with these types of females is like a waste of breath, bruh.
I don't need no man.
Or is it just your ideal man like a or something? Because I do not
No,
understand.
it's like at different stage of my life, I have different ideal. For example, with my 5-year relationship, I was with the same guy for 5
Alright,
years.
so if you
Then I
are
go
married-
through a slut phase where that's when I actually did one night stand and I regretted it. And then there are times where I'm like seriously want to
growing
date
as a
someone. It's like
person and you're
people
learning.
change throughout their years and
You're
they want different
growing.
things. So I don't understand what's like.
You need to shut the up.
So if you have a
regretted
marriage,
it, then would you say that, like, if you could go back, would you still have one night stands?
I would have, because at that time, if I didn't have one night stand, I wouldn't have known
Okay.
I regret it.
What the f are you talking about?
Do you all hear the craziness coming out this female's mouth? The craziness. She's not even listening to anyone. She's just nonstop dang near talking. Then she just said, I would do it again because if I didn't do it, I wouldn't know I regretted it. What? Okay, let's put that logic into somebody unaliving someone. I mean, I would go back and unalive a person because if I didn't unalive them, I wouldn't know that I regretted unaliving them. What? What did... Bruh. This is what happens to females whose oxytocin, their bonding agent and everything is gone. They lose their freaking minds because they have nothing to help them understand that this is not something that's good. In their mind, they think everything is free reign. Everything. These are the types of females who will stand next to you and you will say something they don't like and they will just swing at you and hit you. Because they do physically the same thing they do mentally, which is, I'm going to say whatever comes to my mouth. I don't give a care if it didn't even process through my head yet. I'm just going to say it first. Then I'm going to think about it later. They do that physically. I'm just going to react and hit him first. Then I'll think about what I did later. And in her case, she'll say, and then I'll say, I'll do it again, because if I do it again, if I didn't do it again, rather, I wouldn't know that I thought I shouldn't do it later. Absolutely bananas.
We'll get to that in a sec. To wrap up on the whole 10 thing, here's what I see going on in the dating marketplace.
And here we go.
You have, and I've spoken to over 1,000 women on the show. It's not all women, but I don't know if it's a majority or who knows the exact number. But there's enough women who are totally average. They don't want to date average men.
Exactamundo.
That's a mother freaking fact. That's a mother freaking fact. And the reason that they don't want to date average men is because they think they're better than those average men. That's the crazy part. They actually think that. Okay, these chicks will be a 5, right? They'll be an average chick. They'll be able to get with, as far as intimacy wise, a guy who's an 8. So the guy who's a 6, to them, looks like he's beneath them. So the 6 guy looks like a 4 guy to a 5 female. Think about that. I'm going to say that one more time. The 6 guy looks like a 4 guy to a 5 female. And it's because she's been getting done dotted by an 8 male. This is the problem. And this is the problem with this chick sleeping with a bunch of dudes, because she says that they're losers, right? But guess what? I would bet all the money in the world that those guys are better than her. It's just that in her mind, she thinks that she's better than them. First of all, you're sleeping with all of these guys. Your value's already down. You're already went from, because she's a cute female as far as how she looks, but her value has dropped precipitously because of her promiscuity. And on top of that, you can tell she's not a female who listens. She's a female who you will have to try to get to shut the freak up, not just verbally, but mentally, just to be able to get a word in edgewise. She's one of those types of females. So if you're promiscuous, so your rating drops, and then you're a female who doesn't listen, and your rating drops, and because she's one of those ones who just doesn't know how to shut up, she's more than likely going to be disrespectful. So she is promiscuous, she doesn't know how to listen, and she's disrespectful. What rating would you all give her then? You tell me in the comment section. What rating would you give a female who's those three things? Because somehow she probably would tell herself she's minimum an 8. And I can tell you right now, ma'am, you ain't nowhere near close to that.
I don't need no man.
That's a problem.
For average men, not for them.
No, well, it's also a problem for the women because then they end up getting into relationships with men who will never commit to them.
I will
Is this
believe
like a
it if a woman
statistic
said
that
it.
that you've read
Yeah,
somewhere?
where did you read that? What's the
Or is
source?
it?
I mean,
Or did women
the
say that to
dating-
you?
The dating apps are proof enough. So
Where's
if
the
you
stats?
have, hold
What
on,
dating app?
Listen, I'm
Tinder,
taking the
Tinder,
others.
all these dating apps have released, not all of the dating apps, but they've released data on this. Women swipe no on 90%
that's
of men.
true.
Oh, there's a big surprise.
You know what's crazy? I've noticed that females will ask, a particular sect of females, for data. Right? They'll say, where are the stats? Where are the stats for that? Tell me the stats. Here's the thing. They don't care about the stats. They don't listen to the stats. You will literally tell them, here are the stats, here's this, here's that. And you know what they'll do? They'll do the thing that's the primary thing about which I talk on this channel. They'll try to move the field of battle onto the field of battle on which they think they can win. So they'll say, well, from where did those stats come? Who made them? You tell them who made them. Well, what year was it? They'll keep moving from the whole house to a room in the house to the closet to a box in the closet to a box inside a box in the closet. They'll keep moving because they don't want to admit that they're wrong. So they'll just keep moving the field of battle until they find a field of battle on which they think that they can win. See, when you tell them, well, these stats are over, a 20-year period, but they ended 4 years ago. They'll say, well, I mean, that was 4 years ago. It's been 4 years since then. So they don't know. And you're like, but the doggone survey was 25 years of information. So it shows a pattern, and it's more than likely the same pattern, at least close to it. Now you can give or take 10%. They're like, yeah, but you don't know. So in their mind, they're like, so we're even. Because they don't want to admit anything. It doesn't matter what you say. They're not going to listen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a thing.
But why do you think women?
It's not 90, it's 95%.
I think what he's meaning.
Oh, okay.
But why do you think
So,
women are unhappy?
Hold on.
Maybe women are
Let me
happier this
look
way.
at this.
Because of their choices.
Thank you
That's my dog.
for getting
Because
this,
they have a
Nick.
different
Hold on,
view.
hold on.
Yes.
Stop.
They have a different view.
Okay, the experiences of men and women on Tinder. Women match with 36% of those they like, while men match with less than 2%. Like and match, like but no match,
Yeah.
pass. So women are super
Yeah.
picky when it comes to looks. Okay, and just in general, they're super picky.
Now, she keeps saying, How much you want to bet that after he finishes saying what he's saying, that she's going to come back and either move the field of battle, or she's going to try to rebut what he just showed her by saying, yeah, but being one of the butt girls. How much you want to bet? You tell me in the comment section. How much you want to bet that that's one of the two things that she's more than likely going to do? I'd be shocked if it's not. because they don't care about the stats. They care about being right. And if the stats show that they're wrong, guess what they'll do? They'll attack the stats. They'll attack methodology. They'll attack anything. Now she said, now let's see what it is that she actually says after he finishes talking.
I don't need no man.
Women are overlooking men that are actually in their league because they think, for example, let him cook! If you think that you're a 10 and you genuinely believe it, certainly you must be deserving of a man who's a 10. And so what is that going to look like?
A man who she thinks is a 10, who she thinks is a 10. That's important to add.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Yeah, because if she's dating him, it's going to be her thoughts about the guy. But do you see how she's now already starting to try to add caveats? We already know she thinks he's that because she's the one who's dating him, or at least trying to date him or trying to get with him. That's about who Brian is talking. The individual she thinks that she, quote unquote, deserves. Caveats are already starting. Let's continue.
She thinks is a 10, not in the world.
You
Most
say
people
all
think
these
it's
women,
a 10.
they want to date men are more attractive.
Yeah.
I already said I like the men that are not considered attractive. I like the little shorties.
Yeah.
Lies, lies, lies. And everywhere is lies.
What she thinks is a 10. Maybe she likes broke guys.
Get the out of here.
Maybe that's a 10.
No, I
Maybe
mean-
someone likes homeless people.
I don't really care. I don't really care.
Not
Throws
you.
you under the bus immediately.
Like, I'm not saying you.
That doesn't
So it's like
matter to
in
me.
her eyes. So yeah, if she thinks a 10, she will find someone who she thinks is a 10. That doesn't mean you will
Yes.
think he's a 10.
Cállate la boca.
Well, I think, look, again, the big issue here is that I see going on in the dating marketplace
Yeah.
is average women don't want to date average men.
True.
And then, but here's the problem. If I'm an average guy
Yeah.
and I want to get sexual access to
Yeah.
above average women, I can't.
Exactly, and that sounds like your problem.
No, hold on.
Bruh. Oh my goodness. Didn't I tell you all she wasn't listening? Didn't I tell you all she wasn't listening? She just said, well, sounds like a you problem. But you, ma'am, do you even understand the point of what he's saying? Do you even understand it? He's talking about the fact that the people who are on the same level aren't dating each other because one half of those individuals, you females, think that they aren't on that level. A 5 thinks she's an 8. A 6 thinks she's a 10. So because of that, the guys who are 5s and 6s don't have anyone they can date on their level. Are you not hearing him? But of course, you don't want to respond to the actual argument. Why not? Because responding to the actual argument would mean that you would have to concede the undeniable point. And you're not trying to concede the point. This is why you keep deflecting, talking about stuff about which he's not talking, or adding in things to throw caveats in there to kind of throw things off. We see what you're doing, ma'am. We see what you're doing.
I don't need no man.
I don't object to that.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Average women
Yeah.
can get sexual access to above average men.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't.
Well, but here's the thing. This is
And
what
who's letting them in? Who's letting them
small
have that
proportion-
access?
Well,
Hey, you shut your face!
well, hold on. Who's more to blame?
Hello?
Like 2% of men or the 50% of women who are engaged in the hookup culture?
My nigga.
They're like more selective. Women are more selective.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What the freak? Bruh. This is about what I'm talking. Do you see what they just did? I just told you all. Now, the Asian female isn't the one that did it, but the sisterhood chimed in. They chimed in and did what? Exactly what I said they were going to do. Try to move the field of battle onto the field of battle on which they think they can win. He was just talking about how they have access to these guys that aren't trying to date them. And the Asian chick said, oh yeah, that's nice. Yes, it's nice that you have access to them, but it's only nice for the sex and how you feel. It's not nice for society or actually getting couples together. And then this chick just comes from the side and just says, well, females are more selective. The freak does that have to do with the actual thing he just said? It has nothing to do with that. Because we're talking about the actual levels. And you just choosing to want to buy this car over here that you can't afford doesn't change the fact that you can't afford that car. We tell you you can't afford that car. And your thought process is, oh, I like that. I want to buy it. Ma'am, you can't afford that car. You do understand that, right? She doesn't care. Because in her mind, it's not about whether or not she can afford it, which is one side. It's about, I want it, which is the other side. Remember when I said earlier about females going on vacation with their rent money? They can't afford that vacation because they literally don't have the money for the vacation and to be able to live regular life. But guess what they would do? They'll go on a vacation anyway. They don't care that their rent now isn't able to be paid. But in their mind, they're like, well, I got the money to do it. No, you don't. You have the money to do that and be homeless. Add the second part, and be homeless. Don't just say I have the money to do it. If I got $1,000 in my pocket, but my bills are $1,500, I don't have $1,000. In their mind, they're like, I do. That's what they call girl math.
But so I'll grant to you that there are hyper promiscuous, super attractive men that sleep with a ton of women. But it's not clear to me if it's a small proportion of men versus, like, let's say, here's the thing also. I would say that almost any woman, if she wants to, has access to hookup culture.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Can't say the same thing about men.
That's true.
Most men don't have access to hookup culture because they aren't attractive enough to be able to be sleeping with that many women consistently. Whereas an average girl,
like the lot lizards.
Hold on. Lot lizard. Okay. An average girl, if she wanted to, could 3 new guys a day.
And what's the problem here?
Are you dumb?
Pardon me?
Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb. Are you, like, medically speaking?
Of course it affects relationships.
Oh my goodness. Yo, first of all, somebody said this video isn't making a good case for passport bros. Bruh, she's in America. She's an Americanized Asian. That's not who passport bros want. About what is it that you're talking? You're not even having a conversation that passport bros are having. They're talking about going over to where these females are much less tainted and staying there, not bringing them back. She's not a passport bro girl. She's an Americanized, westernized, Asian modern female. Okay. I usually don't even say that about the females because I want you all to think, but there's nobody who's looking at this chick and doesn't think that she's a modern female. Okay. And for her to say at the end, after he said, well, the average chick, can sleep with 3 men a day. The average male only has 5 sexual partners their whole life. Did you just hear what I said? Their whole life. 5. He just said an average chick can sleep with 3 a day. That's over 1,000 a year she wanted to. And this Asian female said, oh, what's wrong with that? Oh my goodness. She is super duper cooked. Y'all tell me in the comment section, this is going to be a hilarious question, but y'all tell me in the comment section if you think this chick would be faithful to her man.
I don't need no man.
What are you?
Where's the
So
I feel
the problem
get
is
to the point.
the problem is you have average women chasing after men that are out of their league.
Yes.
And then they think they're entitled to those men. They'll never get commitment. And then when they finally have to settle down in their late 20s or 30s, they're going to like have all these experiences with all these men who are more attractive than their partner, and they're going to think like, I'm settling, but actually they're not.
Ironic.
They're actually
I
not.
have 2 points to that. One, why do you think they're unhappy? Maybe they settle and they're happy and they live their 20s, dating hot men, and then in their 30s they can settle with the average men, and that's great for them. Cheer for them. So what's wrong with that?
You're kidding, right?
You clearly don't understand how this works, do you? You just said, oh my goodness. You just said they can date and do all this stuff with a bunch of hot guys in their 20s. So we're talking about, let's say, 8s and up, okay, in their 20s. And then settle down with an average guy of 5 in their 30s and quote unquote be happy. Ma'am, do you not understand how females work? I mean, the level of delusion here is absolutely amazing. You think that a female could be on yachts and dating guys who are the old school Brad Pitts and Tom Cruises of the world, and then come back to an average guy who works at Trader Joe's, who's a shift manager in their 30s, and quote unquote be happy? Bruh, those chicks are going to cheat 9 times out of 10. Why? Because females who think that they're better than their partner look for another partner.
So, can I ask you a question? I want you to think right now, the most attractive guy you've ever dated and been with. Can you think of him?
Oh, there's a few.
Okay.
It depends. Like, do you want the European style or like more scrawny, Dr. Smart style?
Here we go again.
It depends.
But
So what?
Can you think of one man in particular who was like leaps and bounds above them all?
No, I can't.
I don't believe you.
Because everybody have their pros and cons. That's why you cannot objectively rate a person.
This is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Like, someone might be really tall and handsome and strong and have a small. Some other guy would be very fat.
Yo, this chick is manic, bruh. She's manic. You even have the females on the podcast looking at her. They're not even looking at her. They're looking around with their mouths open like, because even they cannot believe what they're hearing with this chick. This is what I'm saying, man. Whenever you put a female in a logic corner, what does she do? She creates a trap door in order to get out. That's the equivalent of what I said about moving the field of battle onto a field of battle in which she thinks she can win. She'll create a trap door to get out of a logic corner. When you ask her, what guy was the best looking guy? She's like, uh-oh, it looks like he's about to trap me. So what does she say? Well, I mean, just depends. I mean, all the guys look good. I mean, it depends. If he's scrawny, I might like this, or I might like that, or I might like this. What she's doing is saying everything. What I tell you, everything is subjective. Remember when I say this all the time. It's a quote I came up with before. Hope and subjectivity are the 2 worst character traits of females when it comes to relationships. Hope and subjectivity. Because it allows them to get out of any logic corner in which you put them. So what did she just do just now? She hit you with the hope when she talked about, oh, you can date all these hot guys and in your 20s and then in your 30s, you'll be happy. She hit you with the hope. Bull crap. 9 times out of 10, those females cheat and talk about their husband like a dog. Then she hit you with the subjectivity, which is, well, it depends. Everything is it depends. Everything. Why? Because if you lock her down logically, guess what that means she'll have to do? She'll have to actually look in the mirror. And man, let me tell you, when you have a female look in the mirror, it destroys them, especially this type of female. Why? Because they don't want to accept reality because it would force them to have to do what? Change.
I don't need no man.
So it's like you can never ever.
But what's
ever
your
decide.
subjective opinion about the most
Because it
attractive
can't.
man?
Because when you're with them, it's a different feeling. Sometimes it make you feel calm. Sometimes it make you feel passion. How can you decide that? That's crazy.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Have you ever been in love before?
I've been in love every time I date someone.
I believe you.
Yeah.
She belongs to the streets. See what I'm saying? No rules. Free love. Everything is everything. Nothing matters. It's just free reign of everything. I've been in love every time. She was about to say I've been in love every time I screwed a guy, but you saw her shift the verbiage in the midst of it and say, well, every time I've been in a relationship with somebody. Get the entire freak out of here, man. Get the entire freak out of here. We know exactly what you were about to say. This chick is, ooh, man, I'm sorry, but this chick is back crap crazy.
Question, I really need to pee.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Okay, go pee.
I'm
Go.
so shocked.
Giovanni Jade, you donated $200. Brian's telling the truth. When I was a DJ, I slept with tons of women that were mid, because I was bored, drunk, etc., but only wifed the nines. Shameful behavior, but it applies to all DJ men.
Yo, Giovanni, appreciate it, man. Look, I mean, there's a lot of guys that will. I think one of the big things, and I've brought this up in previous shows, is that when it comes to like more casual flings or whatever, a guy will sleep down. Whereas, like, if a girl's inclined to have like a one-night stand or casual thing, she'll typically prioritize like going for the most attractive guy she can get. Whereas when a man's trying to get like casual sex, he'll lower his standards for looks.
That nigga got a point.
So when it comes to a guy will sleep with a girl that just on looks alone, he will never be in a relationship with her. However, I would argue typically that for a woman, even to have like casual one-night stands or whatever, in order to have a one-night stand or casual with a guy, he typically has to be at least attractive enough for her to be in a relationship with him.
Bingo! I was literally about to pause the video and say that before he said it. That is stupid big facts. Stupid big facts. I think I said that earlier. A female, when she sees a guy with whom she wants to sleep, if that guy is in any way after she sleeps with him or talks to him or whatever, the guy she thought or hoped he might be when she first saw him, he can be like, I want you to be my woman. And she'd be like, yes, immediately. Because when she looks at him, it's not just that, oh, he looks hot. It's, this is a guy who could be my husband. This is why you ever heard females say they'll call their girl, or it'll be a movie or something or whatever. They'll call their girl and they say, girl, guess what? She'll be like, what girl? I just saw my husband. Mind you, she doesn't even know the guy. But because that's a guy with whom she'll sleep, what did Brian just say? And I said earlier, it's a guy who can get a relationship with her immediately if he wanted to. But it's not the same in the reverse. Because a guy will see a chick with a big behind and he's like, he loved to bend her over and the whole nine. But guess what? He's said to himself a gazillion times before he even got to her, man, I never wifed this chick. What? This is before he even talked to her. Like if he sees a chick that looks like a quote unquote hood chick, whether a ghetto chick, whether that's from an Asian ghetto or Hispanic ghetto or Native American ghetto, whatever. If she looks like she's a hood chick, ghetto chick, he's not gonna be thinking, oh, I want to wife her. He's gonna be thinking, oh, she'd probably have great sex. Now, first of all, a chick like that would also probably be absolutely insane. So if you and her stop kicking it, she would probably do something crazy to you. But he wouldn't be saying, oh, I'm gonna wife her. But a female will see a guy with tats and this whole nine, and she'll say, oh, girl, I just saw my husband. That's facts, Brian. That's big facts.
I don't need no man.
It's also dangerous if you're a woman and you don't understand that men will lower their standards and be disgusting and sleep with people who are less than, because then you feel special because this guy who you perceive is so hot is choosing you and you're like, oh, that's crazy. But you're not special. He's using you.
You get a lot of heartbreak after that.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
When
and
you're
that's
getting
going
older, you want to settle down. You have this vision in your head like, oh my God, I deserve a man that looks like that.
Well, the idea is that
It's
he makes
not
you feel so
going to
special.
happen.
Eventually,
Yeah.
you're going to meet a normal guy who is in your league. He will not make you feel
Yes,
special.
that-
And now you're like, what am I missing here? What's going on?
I don't know the name of that guy, but that's facts too. That speaks in the same realm of what I was just saying earlier. When a female gets with those guys who are at that level, that higher level, it does something to them because they're always looking for validation. Oh my goodness. If you don't understand this about females in general, right? This goes for traditional women, and modern females. They are always looking for validation, right? It's just that the traditional and modern women look for that validation in the right ways the vast majority of the time. Their wrong way validation is more minimized because they're more in control of themselves. They understand and follow a male's lead so males can direct them in the right way a lot of times, or most of the time. But the modern females, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. These females will lose their job to keep their TikTok. They will lose their husband to keep their Instagram. It's freaking insane, yo. And here's a crazy thing. They don't seem to realize that getting a husband is harder than getting a job. Getting a husband is harder than growing a following on TikTok. They don't understand this because they're told their whole life that, oh, it's another one around the corner. Because they get so much attention initially that they think, oh, I can just get anybody at any time, not understanding that a large portion of that attention when they're younger is on just the sexual part. Now, there's also a large portion of that's on the relationship part when they're younger. Why? Because they have the things that 18 to 90-year-old males want, which is youth, beauty, and fertility. They have that innocence as well. But what happens is they get older, become ran through, and then still think that they have the things that males want because they still get the attention. But they don't understand that, let's just say, just for argument's sake and example's sake, let's just say that it was half and half. So let's say when they were younger, half of the attention that they were getting was for sex and half the attention was for relationships, right? But remember, it's all attention. They'll still be getting that attention at 35 years old, but they don't realize that the percentages have shifted. The percentage shifts from 50-50 to 90-10. Now it's 90% of your attention is males wanting to have sex with you, and 10% might be relationship. It might even be 95-5. But in their minds, they just keep seeing attention and they keep thinking that it's the same as it was when they were 21. And even if you tell them, guess what they'll do? They'll say no. They'll tell themselves, no, it is the same as it was when I was 21. Why? Because what did I tell you about the logic corner? When you put them into a logic corner and they actually have to accept it because they have no way out of which to get when it comes to that logic corner, they have to do what? Accept it and change. And they don't want to because they like the way it feels to be delusional. See, when they were 21, they weren't delusional because it was true. They were getting what they thought they were getting. But now they're 35 and they're not getting what they thought what they were actually getting before. It's not 50-50 anymore. It's 95-5. But if they accept that, they have to change. They have to start making adjustments, and they don't want to because then that would force them to accept what? That they're not the prize.
You have that version in your head that you deserve some kind of, yeah.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
I feel like it's a lot, those numbers are the way they are because men are just desirous in general more so than women are.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Their sexual desire is up here. Ours is like right here. And so that's why I feel personally, I think that the numbers are that way.
Simples.
They're just going to settle for whatever they can, they can do the deed with. So.
Well, yeah, women sleep with who they want and men sleep with who they can.
Got 'em. We
Got him.
That's facts. That's absolute 100% bona fide facts for most males. See, when you become a guy who has either looks, game, money, or fame, then things change. You become like a female who's young. Now, you're not exactly like that because she still would have, more options, but you're at least on the same island as her. You're on the same island because you can get females just like she can get males. But the difference is the females you get are females with whom you can get in a relationship if you so chose, but not her. She couldn't get in a relationship with those guys. Now, maybe a younger female could, but it would depend on how she picked, right? Because if she picked a guy who was a good looking guy, but he wasn't too high on the scale, then he's probably a guy who would be, looking for something more long term. But if she starts hitting the eights, 8.5s, nines, nah, she's just gonna get piped from them. So yeah, that's absolute fact for the majority of guys. Those males compared to females, those females sleep with whoever it is that they want, and the males will be sleeping with whomever it is they can.
Now, remember, this is the female guessing game. So out of all of these females you've seen, about which one do you think I'm about to ask you all? Drum roll, please. So, tell me, is she a traditional woman, modern woman, or modern female? Put it in the comment section and tell me why you think so. And then grab yourself some merch on the way out in order to support the channel. And of course, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Thanks, good man fam.